Hello and welcome to this Standout Medical Careers webinar. I'm Anita Fletcher. Thank you very much for joining me for this webinar that's always popular when I run it each year. It was great to so many people register. You're all eager to enhance your understanding of CVs for doctors. And so before we get started, I will mention that this session has been recorded after the scheduled event yesterday due to some technical issues. If you'd like to ask a question or have a chat about a particular issue, please send me an email or book a free career strategy session with me via the link at the end or on the website. It's always on the Standout Medical Careers homepage. Every time I run a webinar, I notice several familiar names in the registration list. Welcome back to people who have attended these webinars before, and thank you very much for continuing to follow Standout Medical Careers activities. And of course, a very warm welcome to newcomers. So let's get started. Today, we're covering a career essential topic, how to create a CV that stands out for the right reasons and helps you toward your ideal next role or opportunity. For those of you who don't know me already, I founded Standout Medical Careers in March 2020, having run the career service for the Australian Medical Association for 5 years prior to that. And I've been dedicated to supporting medical professionals like yourselves in navigating career advancements for 10 years. I work with doctors from a mix of specialties of various career stages, and having seen thousands of medical CVs, I have a strong working knowledge of what works. As we delve into this topic, it's crucial to think about how to strategically approach and apply for opportunities within your careers, and crafting a CV that highlights your unique skills and experiences will be key to positioning you effectively for these opportunities. I provide individual and group coaching on strategic career planning, CV development, and interview preparation. And I also do a lot of work around navigating challenges and opportunities and helping my clients improve their communication skills, amongst a range of many other things, whatever comes up. Additionally, I'm delighted to partner with MIGA, one of Australia's 4 medical indemnity providers that people also refer to MIGA as MEGA. And this partnership is designed to ensure that you've got access to valuable resources, making investing in your career development easier. I offer discounts for my services to members of MIGA, and we also run a series of webinars each year. These webinars are specifically tailored for medical students and doctors in training, offering insights and advice that can help you navigate the complexities of career paths. So if you're an MIGA member, look out for emails from MIGA announcing the dates and allowing you or your colleagues who might be interested and maybe members to register for these events. So in our limited time today, I want to focus on 3 things critical to your success in crafting a compelling CV. These elements will enhance your, sorry, I had to look down for a moment, your written application and effectively prepare you for interviews to ensure that you leave a lasting impression. It's also worth mentioning that identifying the right people you want to work with is critical. So understanding how to connect with these people and communicate your shared goals can open doors to opportunities that line up with your career aspirations. I had a conversation with a client on Sunday, and she reflected on a few of those doors opening in the last few months that we've been working together. I really encouraged her to start with her CV, which we did, and then we've been working on how to approach various opportunities that arise, and she's meeting great success, which is what we all want. I'm going to ask you this as we start to think about CVs. Have you updated your CV in the past 6 months? The reason for this is that a lot of people I work with don't have important inclusions within their CV. Another previous client had been undertaking her PhD and she didn't have that on information in her CV. So we made sure that went into it. And other people I've worked with don't have their current roles included. So check in with it regularly, especially when you've done a piece of work such as a course or increased responsibility or supervision activity that you want to ensure you have captured in this document. Okay, so now let's address the importance of presenting yourself in the best possible way. We know that competition in medicine is very tough. And when an opportunity presents itself, it's not merely about being ready, it's about having the right tools and mindset to take advantage of that moment. And first and foremost, presenting your CV is often your first opportunity to introduce yourself to a prospective team or organisation. And whether you're invited to interview depends on how you've presented your professional self within this document. It's also an essential tool for informing people in your current environments who will be your supporters, such as referees, about your experience, your achievements and objectives. And this information makes helping you easier for them. So don't keep your CV to yourself. It should not be a closely guarded secret. Communicating what you offer is a multifaceted process. Each of these elements work in conjunction to help people gain an informed view of you and your suitability for various roles. As we move forward, remember that preparation's not just about crafting the perfect CV or mastering interview skills. It's about fostering a mindset that welcomes challenges and embraces opportunities, ensuring that you're ready to step up and shine when the time comes. And opportunities may be pre-arranged and scheduled in, when you have that opportunity, such as an interview or a meeting with someone, and they can also appear at no or very short notice. For this reason, having your CV ready to send at a moment's notice and your pitch well-formed will enable you to communicate your value in every situation, from interviews to chance encounters with people who can help you achieve your goals. And I'll be speaking about this further in the next webinar that I'm running in a month's time on the 5th of March. So I hope you're able to join us for that as well. It's about submitting great applications. And I'll always refer to those connections as well that you're making on a daily basis and how to really nurture those relationships with the people around you, because it makes a big difference to have those people in your corner. And so be prepared to talk with people about opportunities, and engage in those types of conversations can provide you with insights that you might not be aware of and that might not be readily available through as traditional channels of jobs being posted. The more you talk to people, the better you're going to become informed about what's happening in the environment. So whether it's directly in the hospital you're working at or more broadly, get to know people, talk to people about what you're looking to do and how you can help them. And these sorts of dialogues can really illuminate pathways that you hadn't considered and can also connect you with mentors who can guide you. And I say that I really hand on heart know how that works really well, given the results that my clients have had and the types of conversations we have. Once they start discussing with people what they're looking for, the doors start to open. And really great advice comes their way from other people around them. Additionally, as you're considering joining new teams or other types of collaborations, it's essential to be able to articulate your expertise, and highlighting your skills and knowledge really positions you as an asset to potential employers and also reinforces your confidence in what you bring. So remember that every conversation is an opportunity for you to advocate for yourself and your capabilities. And again, I'll be covering that more in the next session, because all of these things are really linked up together. And I've got that question on the screen, on the slide there. Think about what you're known for now and how does that align with how you wish to be known in the future? And what's then the gap between where you are now to what you need to achieve on the way to attaining that different stage of your career. Okay, now how to make your CV stand out. Rule number one, remember that your CV is not just a list of everything you've ever done, jobs and qualifications and research papers. It also should reflect your values, what's important to you, and your vision for the future. So conveying your expertise clearly and confidently will enhance your application and help potential employers understand the unique contributions that you can make to them and their organisation. So it really is your job to let people know what you are known for and, you know, what people call on you for. And I really believe that this is an area that a lot of doctors undercook in their CVs, and they're not presenting key information that's really going to enhance what they can offer by providing this type of information. And it's pretty straightforward as to how to do it. And I'm obviously going to get to that shortly. And so this is sort of all really around your personal brand, your professional brand, and it's really important to be able to identify what that is and communicate that to other people. That's all about recognizing the unique skills and qualities that define you as a professional. So you can work that into your CV. And it's really going to help you not only craft your CV, but build those meaningful connections within your industry and also beyond that. So I really encourage people to be strategic about how they communicate and develop their professional brand. And I believe that these questions can guide you to consider your preferred roles and dynamics in various settings. So first of all, understanding your strengths in collaboration can also help you present yourself better to potential employers, and allowing you to showcase not only what you do, but how you work with others to achieve common goals. And I put this list of questions together quite a few years ago now, and I think they still really stand up. They also reflect a number of the competencies that the colleges state as required competencies that are part of their professional frameworks, and therefore they're also included in the assessment of applicants and at application stage and also at interview. So it's wise to also refer to these within your CV. So for example, leadership is a competency. Teamwork, something that all people always ask about. So is quality improvement. So, you know, technical medical expertise, what you're called on to perform, what achievements, all of this comes into it. It's all another way of saying what those competencies are. And once you understand that link, I think people have told me that's incredibly helpful to really be mindful of the competencies and how they can reflect those in their CVs. Okay, so what have I got here next? So taking this approach is what I recommend: organising your content, formatting it, editing it, and culling. So that's kind of the first stage of bringing it all together. You can format last. Often people create a CV, find a template that they like, and then they build their CV around that. I really recommend going the other way. It should be about content first, formatting later, and the editing it, writing it, rewriting bits, to constantly keep tweaking it and in making small improvements. So I do that with my clients, and even when I see a really outstanding CV, I saw one recently and I thought, gee, I'm going to be hard pressed to make improvements on this. I still did, on further reflection and through discussions with my client, uncover some improvements that we could make, and he was very happy to adopt those. Culling's important when you have too much information, when you're particularly with very long CVs. And people often ask me, how long should the CV be? Really, it's as long as it needs to be, according to your achievements and also the requirements of the instructions of how long it is allowed to be, from the organisational end. If somebody tells you it needs to be, that you need to submit a 2-page CV with 4 referees, do that. But if they don't, and you've got your 8 pages of listing the achievements that you want to convey, to share with them for that particular opportunity, then do that. It really depends on the circumstances, and so you should have a few different versions of your CV, the sort of master CV, and then other versions that are fit for purpose for various purposes. Definitely spell check. Always do a spell check. The small details can really affect how your professionalism is perceived, so don't overlook them. And I've noticed, particularly if they're terms relating to your special area of specialty, get it right, get people's names right, get the name of the health service that you want to work at right, and the places that you've been. It's all about attention to detail in a CV, because that reflects your approach to your work and your attention to detail. Okay. Share it with other people, seek constructive feedback, and take on their ideas, or decide not to, but ask around a little bit. Print it out, and that gives you a really great sense of how people respond to it when they see it. Are they really enthusiastic about it? And you're on a good thing if they are, or if they're a bit lukewarm, then you know that you have to really rethink things and do some more work. Save it as a PDF when you've finished all your work on it, and print that PDF out so that you know that what's going to arrive at the other end has retained the formatting that you've applied to it. And then share it with people. And by that, I mean not just the people you're applying with, but also your referees, to help inform them, and let them know what you've been doing. And it never hurts to update people on where you're at and how things are going for you, what a good job you're doing. So just don't be shy about that. So key inclusions, what should you include? Definitely this value proposition statement that I'm talking about, that comes in the form of the professional profile statement, or you might call it career statement or career objective, whatever you like. at the top of your CV. That's an opportunity for you to really highlight some of your experiences, where you're headed, so your professional objectives, and potentially some of your key achievements or strengths. So spend some time writing that, craft it. If anybody would like some samples of those statements, please send me an email, anita@standoutmedicalcareers.com.au, and I'll happily share those with you. And then the usual things like your qualifications, employment history, but these don't have to be in a particular order. You can move things around according to what's going to be most relevant to the role for which you're applying. So you might want to move your qualifications off to another page, not having them on page 1. And I often do that with clients. Because we put their post-nominals at the top underneath their name. So that's a great summary already of what your qualifications are. And then having the qualifications section lower down if there's other material of more value that should be on, or more relevance at that particular time, that should be on page 1. Because page 1 is where it all happens, I believe, or where a lot of that first impression is formed. The key information that relates to the role that you're applying for is on page 1. And everything else is, of course, extremely important. But page 1 is the first thing people see when they open your document. And whether it's printed, it always sits on top. Electronically on the phone, make sure that if you when you're doing your CV, make sure you check what it looks like on a mobile device, because you've got to make sure that people are able to read it. Please don't use tiny fonts like 9 point. It's too small in my view, and I'd be saying at least 10 or 11 point, so that people can read about your wonderful achievements, and so that you're not frustrating anybody who you're trying to persuade to meet with you. Definitely any teaching work that you've done, the rest are here. I do recommend extracurricular interests. It helps paint a picture of what you're interested in. At the end of the day, you're a person that these other people are going to be working with, so it's nice for them to know something about you and understand your interests. And then, all importantly, referees need to be on there. I've underlined it for a good reason. They can make or break your application, so certainly nurture those relationships. And again, we'll speak about that more in the next webinar. Okay, so when you're putting yourself forward for a role, remember that it's essential to align yourself with the expectations of the role. And that might sound really obvious, but I find that sometimes people don't look very closely at the position description that's provided to them. Sometimes people see the job ad and then go for it with that in mind. And you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't click on the hyperlink that takes you to the position description and really have a thorough read of that. And also any other hyperlinks that are on that. They've put them there for a reason. Now we're sort of edging into the application side of things more. But overall, all of these components are going to build and enable you to develop your CV in the first step, as well as the other steps in the process. Okay, so as I've mentioned previously, the competencies are all important. So it's not just about listing qualifications, it's giving you an opportunity to illustrate your experiences and how they equip you for challenges ahead. So, for example, one thing I speak to a lot of doctors in training about is, have they stepped up into a registrar position while they've been in an SRMO or a PHO role? And often they tell me they have, but I wouldn't have known that because if I hadn't asked, because that's not on their CV when they've sent that to me prior to us starting to work together. So it's those types of highlights that I'm talking about here. And that falls under showcasing your abilities and achievements under the content section here. So you're probably familiar with the CanMEDS framework that's on the left of the screen. If you're not, look it up. A lot of the physicians, people aspiring to physician training are familiar with that. As I referred to this previously, each of the specialty colleges have their list of their competencies that they require people to work on and develop throughout their careers. And that's the professional framework that they've established, so that it's really pays to be intimately aware of with what they are and to assess yourself on how you're tracking with each of those, because that's what people are assessing. That is it. That is like the rule book. Or I should say the guide, one of the guides that can really assist you to become a more competitive candidate. So in summary, what was I going? I'm looking at a few other slides here. So, okay, here are some of the key focus areas. So as I've mentioned, presentation is very important, especially observing the required format. And actually, it seems like I'm brushing over that. I have to stress that presentation is very important. It is, people can make up their mind about whether or not they continue to read your CV depending on how it looks. So please make that something they want to look at, something they experience a good feeling about when they open it, that their first impression is, wow, that looks great. They're all these subconscious things that are going on when we open documents. You must know what it's like when you see another document. You know, think about if you've seen someone's handover notes, what's an example of a great set of handover letter or referral letters, and what's an example of something that really could have been done better. So your CV reflects how you work and how your other pieces of work are going to be. So this really, the presentation is super important, as well as the way you convey information. So being concise, looking at it from the perspective of the reader, you know, think about what are they really looking for here, and how can I portray that I meet what they're looking for. I possess the skills and the experience that they're looking for. Don't clutter it up. Avoid the temptation to jam it with everything. You can't put everything you've ever done in there, so don't try. It's not the purpose of this document. But the purpose is to present yourself in a very professional manner with really relevant information. So polish it, refine it, pay attention, spend some time to do that. I think it speaks volumes. And I see a lot of CVs, and I know immediately when I've got one that I can really get stuck into and make some great improvements for that client. So do the work there and you'll reap the benefits. Get someone else to proofread it, and, you know, of course, that's what I do, but I'm saying whoever it is, get friends to look at it, get your boss to look at it, proofread it. You know, you're showing people what it is you have to offer, and asking them to assist you. And I'm sure most people are going to be more than happy to do that. Okay, so as you reflect on your goals and your experiences, think about the attributes as well that make you stand out. So what unique qualities do you bring to the table that can attract the right opportunities? And by understanding those more nuanced aspects of you, professional you can tailor your CV to resonate with those potential employers. That makes it not just a document and a formality, but a really powerful narrative of your professional journey. So, it's a subject that's really close to my heart because I know the difference that it makes for people. And so that's why I run these sessions and try and help people to really bring their CVs up to where they could be. They're full of potential. So please make the most of this opportunity to present yourself in the best possible way. So this slide is a snapshot of how I like to and suggest to people to set out their CVs. Really, the message I'm trying to convey here is there's no fancy formats, there's no purple borders, there's no green being used. It's good old black and white. It's easy to read. It's crisp. It's clear. It makes people's reading of your CV and a thing they can do with ease. You're not trying to impress them with, you're not creating a book with a fancy cover on it. And I've seen some CVs like that, and some of them I've gone, wow, like they look visually incredible. You're doctors, you're not graphic artists. So let people focus on what it is that you do and what you've achieved and what you have to offer and what you're currently working on. So key sections, as I said, well, first of all, your name. I have seen CVs without the name, the person's name. You can put the post-nominals at the top, like I said, because that allows you to create some more space on page one and move your qualifications down so that then you can focus on this all-important section. And people might think that nobody reads it, but, and some people may not, but I feel like it's an invitation that's hard to resist to see that description of someone's self that's going to help the reader then better understand the other information that follows. And it enables you to stand out from other people because a lot of people, let's face it, in your line of work have similar qualifications and similar experiences. So this is all about making, how are you different from people, or, tell us more about you. And this section, the highlights, the bullet points, I referred to before, there's ways of sliding in information, like if you've stepped up in a role or taken on additional responsibilities, been a part of a committee for a large organisation, taken on an examination role with one of the colleges, particularly if the college that you want to be aligned with or are aligned with already. It's that kind of thing that by putting in a bullet point, you're really drawing the reader's attention to that area, and it makes it more easy for them to read it. And you're really sort of pointing an arrow to say, please read this, because this is extra. This tells you more about what I've been doing while I've been working in that position. So, they're very simple things, but I think they're highly effective. Okay, so next question. I like to ask people this because everyone's different. Sometimes people say all of the above. When I ask them, what's your biggest challenge in presenting yourself as the preferred candidate? And this isn't for my benefit to know, this is for you to think about, okay, where do I need to start doing some more work? Where do I need to really focus my attention for my next opportunity that comes up, and what should I start working on? So, if it's CVs and selection criteria responses, know that, get to work. Now, this time of year is the ideal time for everyone to start getting these things into shape. I mentioned last night in the webinar session that wasn't recorded, one of my clients recently said, I checked the college website. The applications are opening a lot earlier than I thought they would. So be aware of that, and also be prepared for those situations. No one wants to get caught out having missed one of those application dates. So there's a tip. Check now if there's something you're looking to do this year, particularly for applying for specialty training. Get onto the website and make sure you've got those essential dates in your diaries, and just start doing the work. And fortunately, we've already got his CV sorted out, because we've met a few times over that, and that's ready to go. And the next step is he'll be sending me his selection criteria responses, his application form, for me to review and give him feedback on. Think about, do you struggle with conveying your value? So talking about what your achievements are and how you're a suitable candidate for that position. Do you struggle with structuring your responses? And I say this because this is where a lot of people say that that's an area of difficulty for them. And also communicating well at interview. I've recently will be working with a person that I met 7 years ago when I worked for AMA New South Wales, and I'm so pleased she's remembered me, and she said, "You really helped me with my CV. I'm applying for a fellowship role now, and I could use your help with interview preparation, because I'm still, it's a bit hit and miss." She said, "Sometimes I'm really strong in interviews, and sometimes a sense of self-doubt creeps in and I'm not able to perform. I'm kind of like deer in the headlights." And I want to help her not be the deer in the headlights, to really be able to showcase what she's achieved in those important meetings. So think about what you need to work on, and I hope I can help with these webinars. And like I said, I'm always open to a free chat on Zoom. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. So that's some of the ways that I help doctors. I've alluded to those previously earlier on, so I'm not going to labour that point. Upcoming webinars, as I mentioned, there's 2 scheduled. There'll be more coming. They're always on the Standout Medical Careers website homepage. So please register and put the date in your calendars, and I will send recordings to people, even if it's the next day or a few days after sometimes. And finally, I'd ask as well, if you'd be interested in an online learning course. If you're happy for me to send you an email with a few short questions, please let me know. I'd really appreciate your feedback on a project that I'm about to embark on. So there you go, information there about how to get in touch. And thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next time. And as I said, I'd love to hear more about your goals, and if I can potentially be of assistance, and best wishes until next time. Thank you.